Welcome to Spiritual Foundations for Life. You know, the Bible is a historical account of humankind's tendency to rebel. Adam and Eve rebelled in the Garden of Eden. Cain rebelled against the teachings of God. All the ancient people were in rebellion except Noah, and their rebellious acts resulted in the flood. The people were rebellious again when they built the Tower of Babel, which caused God to have to scatter them throughout the land. Miriam and Aaron rebelled against Moses. Lot rebelled against Abraham. Esau rebelled against Jacob. Absalom rebelled against David, his father. And the whole world today is in rebellion against God. See, we are all rebellious by nature, and even as believers, we are continually tempted to do things our own way. You know, this series of rebellion can be illustrated by the life of Saul, the first king of Israel. God, speaking through the prophet Samuel, had given clear instructions to Saul. 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 18. Go and completely destroy those wicked people, the Amalekites. Wage war against them until you wipe them out. Saul, however, decided he would keep some of the captured animals. And he also spared the life of Agag, the Amalekite king, according to 1 Samuel chapter 15, verses 20 and 21. Now, and Saul tried to justify his actions to Samuel, but the prophet replied in 1 Samuel chapter 15, verses 22 and 23, Does the Lord delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as much as in obeying the Lord? To obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams, which was the best part of the sacrifice. For rebellion is like the sin of divination or witchcraft, and arrogance is like the evil of idolatry, because we set ourselves up above God. See, rebellion may be humanity's worst sin. Saul rebelled because he feared the people more than he feared God, according to 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 24. And he decided for himself how he was going to worship God rather than let God tell him what was acceptable worship. Like Saul, we may not even see our own rebellion, which is more of an attitude than an action. Rebellion is first and foremost a problem of the heart. You know, we can be standing up on the outside, but while sitting down on the inside. And that will not escape God's notice, for he looks at the heart. God is not pleased with just going through the motions of worship. He wants our heart. You know, David came to that understanding after his sin with Bathsheba. David wrote in Psalm 51, verses 16 and 17, You do not delight in sacrifice, or I would bring it. You do not take pleasure in burnt offerings. My sacrifice, O God, is a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. You, God, will not despise. Let's learn to worship God by giving him what he really desires, our undivided heart. Our key point today, that even as believers, we are tempted to do things our own way, which God sees as rebellion. And our key verse is 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 23. To obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams. For rebellion is like the sin of divination or witchcraft, and arrogance is like the evil of idolatry. God bless you. See you tomorrow for another episode of Spiritual Foundations for Life.